Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders. I am Lee Young-ah, announcer for the Ministry of Unification Uni TV, and I will be the MC for today's forum. I think today is a bit chilly today and nearing the starting of winter, but thank you very much participants for joining us, as well as those who are joining us real time through Ministry of Unification UniTV YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your participation. This is an international forum, so we have Korean and English interpretation for your convenience, so please choose channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English with your interpretation receivers. Today at the Global Forum for Young Leaders, we will have a roundtable talk under the theme of transforming the DMZ into the GPZ, the eyes of the youth generation, a presentation session, and a discussion. With a freer framework compared to existing forum formats, we will have a forum where domestic and foreign youth can exchange their ideas and enjoy these talks while freely discussing the issues of DMZ and Green Détente. We also prepared a special session that will focus the attention of young people with music as content, so please join us until the end. As for our viewers who are watching us live on YouTube, we are conducting a forum live viewing verification event. You can see the details on our YouTube screen and chatting window. And if you are watching us live, please take a picture and please upload it to the verification site. And we will have a lottery and have small souvenirs as gifts. So we hope for your participation. We will start the opening ceremony of the DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders 2022. First, there will be opening remarks by Choi Park, Deputy Minister for Inter-Korean Exchanges and Cooperation from the Ministry of Unification. Please greet him with a big round of applause. Distinguished guests, I am Park Chol, Deputy Minister for Inter-Korean Exchanges and Cooperation from the Unification Ministry. I would like to welcome everyone to the 2022 Global Forum for Young Leaders, hosted by the Ministry of Unification of Korea. I would like to welcome everyone to this forum. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Robert Metz, George Mason University Korea Campus Dean, for your congratulatory address in advance, which will come right after this forum. In addition, I would like to express my deepest thanks to Professor Kim Ji-young from the National Institute for Unification Education and Lee Myung-soo Senior Fellow from the New York University School of Law, U.S. Access Law Institute, for graciously agreeing to moderate each session. In addition, I would like to thank all the presenters and discussants from home and abroad, as well as all of you joining us via YouTube online. Distinguished participants, recently, we are seeing a pronounced global new Cold War current, and with the provocations including North Korean nuclear development and continued missile launches, the inter-Korean relations conflict and confrontation politically and militarily are deepening. If at this juncture, North and South Korea can discuss, implement, and build trust regarding these common issues, I am sure that we will open a new chapter for inter-Korean relations. 2022 DMZ Global Forum, which was hosted by the Ministry of Unification from 2018, has acted as a venue for public discourse in and out of Korea, which deals in depth with the issues surrounding North and South Korea's DMZ. We have listened to the esteemed opinions of experts from home and abroad, but this time we paired this event today so that we can communicate with the future generation who are especially interested in the issues on the Korean Peninsula. In addition, this forum is being streamed online, so we have youth from the international community who are here with us. Distinguished participants, the Yoon Suk-yeol administration has designated North and South Korea Green Détente as a national agenda, reflecting our will to have joint responses and cooperation, including non-political areas including forests, potable water, sanitation, environment and disasters, and issues which urgently need to be addressed for the everyday lives of people. North and South Korean Green Détente is a policy for us to resolve the inter-Korean issues with wisdom when there are continuing international sanctions continuing against North Korea. DMZ has been designated between the two Koreas according to the 1953 Armistice Agreement related to the Korean War. With continued division, there were many provocations and conflicts in the Han River estuary, and since no person could reside there, it transformed into a treasure for ecosystem during 70 years of division. There were some discussions and agreements about peaceful use of DMZ between the two Koreas, but it did not lead to implementation. DMZ and its borderland in both north and south are always exposed to various threats, including flood, droughts, forest fires, and communicable diseases. When North Korea discharges or blocks water without warning, flood or water shortages will occur for those downstream. When there are forest fires or Africa swine flu, effective response is difficult with just unilateral efforts. In this vein, we need to recognize the DMZ, which comprises the borderland between North and South, to be a space where future-oriented cooperation can be implemented. In addition, I hope that North Korea can actively take the initiative in small acts which can help both North Korean and South Korean residents. I hope that we can give back a safer living environment to those living near the border areas. Dear participants, there have been countless discussions about how to preserve the DMZ, how to utilize this area, what meaning to bestow to this area, and what is the value of the DMZ. I hope and believe that it is now time for the youth to take part in these discussions. It is because you will be the owners and you will be the ones who will utilize this area and pass it on to the next generation. The youth have a sense of challenge and are forward-looking. You will be the generation who will lead the future. You should not be limited by stereotypes and find a more creative way to solve these issues and develop your capabilities. That is why the young generation preparing for the future should focus on the Green Détente policy and the DMZ Green Peace Zone. The Unification Ministry will collect all the precious opinions here and reflect it on our policies, and will communicate with the younger generation with various methods. I hope that through this forum, we can spread consensus in and out of Korea regarding DMZ and the unification vision. Once again, thank you for participating in 2022 DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders. And we wish for your health and happiness to all the youth leaders who are participating here today. Thank you very much.
네. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister Park, for your wonderful speech. We have many young leaders sitting at the venue right now. I believe we will have a very constructive discussion throughout the day, so I hope you can stay with us for the remainder of the forum. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Robert Matz, Campus Dean of George Mason University of Korea, to deliver his congratulatory speech.
안녕하세요.
Good morning.
Dean, and I would like to welcome all of you to the DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders 2022. I want to thank all of our distinguished guests, all the panelists, Chol Park, Assistant Minister for Inter-Korean Exchanges and Cooperation, for taking the time to come here to Songdo to hear from our promising young leaders. Additionally, I would like to thank the Ministry of Unification for supporting this conference and working with Mason Korea's Peace and Conflict Studies Asia to make this conference possible. I want to thank the faculty and students from that center for their hard work organizing this conference. And thank you all for joining us today. Today is the first part of a two-part conference that deals with current and future issues surrounding unification in the context of the DMZ. The theme of today's conference, the DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders, focuses on the ideas of the young. It will culminate with a larger conference on the 21st of November entitled DMZ Global Forum 2022, at which government officials, experts, and academics will discuss Green Détente and the creation of a green peace zone in support of a peaceful and sustainable unification process. The idea of green détente reminds us that borders, though they have real and serious impacts, are human artifices. Climate change, fine dust, the spread of pathogens, animal migration, threats to biodiversity, all of these kinds of environmental processes do not respect national borders. And environmental and community problems such as deforestation and the support and development of rural communities are common problems that transcend political differences and international borders. Hence, it seems to me that a focus on cross-border cooperation between North and South Korea on shared environmental threats marks a positive way of engaging in projects to enhance peaceful engagement with the North. A demilitarized zone marks an absence. A green peace zone marks a positive presence, even as in other areas, tensions between North and South remain high. More broadly, this conference's attention to the challenges that cross national borders reflects the mission of Mason Korea. As George Mason's International Campus, our mission to provide a global education and to foster research that reflects the processes of globalization while also fostering the peaceful resolution of conflict. The great challenges and the great opportunities of our age require these global perspectives, as the environmental focus of this and the next conference suggest. Once again, I'm so pleased today that we can host these conversations that reflect this global and intergenerational perspective. I wish you all the best on an interesting, informative, and productive conference. Thank you, and again, welcome everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matz, for your speech. The 2022 DMZ Global Forum for Young Leaders is taking place at the George Mason University, Korea, a premier hub for global education. I also echo Dr. Matt's wish for a productive conference with engaging conversations that reflect a global and intergenerational perspective. Now, about today's program. After the opening ceremony, the first session will be on the theme of transforming the DMZ into the green peace zone from the eyes of the young generation. Dr. Ji-young Kim, Professor of National Institute for Unification Education, will moderate. Our panelists are Hae-jin Jang, student at George Mason University, Korea, Manong Prodong, a researcher at the Institute for Far Eastern Studies, Mr. Sung-hyun Yoon, Deputy Director of Ministry of Unification, Pavel Research Fellow at Seoul National University Asia Center, and finally, Jung-hoon Moon, member of the Peaceful Unification Advisory Council. After the session, we will have lunch, and then we will begin the afternoon session at 1:40 p.m. And we have a special session titled A Meeting with a Pianist, Transforming the DMZ with Music. Professor Mi-jung Kim of Hansei University, who is also the artistic director of PLZ Festival, will deliver a lecture. This will be followed by session 2 on the theme Future of the Korean Peninsula Envisioned by Young Generation. Dr. Myung-soo Lee, Senior Fellow at NYU US Asia Law Institute, will moderate. Our panelists are Kwon-ju Kim, President of Korean Peninsula Research Club of Hankuk University of Foreign Studies, Jack Greenberg, graduate student at Korea University GSIS, and Gabriella Bernal, PhD candidate at University of North Korean Studies, and Youngchan Lee, Yonsei University student, will be the panelists. And our discussants are Kyung-hoon Jang, student from Hansei University, Ran Kim, student from George Mason University, Korea, Ji-hee Choi, journalist from D-News, Peter Ward, contributing analyst for NK Pro, and Kyuan Park, student from Konkuk University. And I wonder how much you know about the DMZ. Well, you probably know a lot more than the general public about the DMZ, but we are going to provide you with a video presentation of the historical significance of the DMZ and how valuable it is in different aspects. The DMZ came into being 71 years ago when the tragic Korean War ceased with an armistice agreement. DMZ is a buffer zone where neither military forces nor weapons are allowed. It spans 2 kilometers from both sides of the military demarcation line, making it 4 kilometers wide and 248 kilometers long. During the Cold War, however, DPRK set up watch posts in the DMZ, which prompted ROK to do the same. The demilitarized zone thus ended up being armed with heavy weaponry and became a symbol of the division and military tension on the Korean peninsula. Meanwhile, need for cooperation emerged. Wildfires that started in North Korea occasionally spread to South Korea. Sudden opening of dams up north caused floods that threatened the lives of South Koreans. On the other hand, blocking the rivers from flowing south disrupted the ecosystem, and animals living in DMZ could pose risk of an epidemic outbreak. Such natural disasters and climate change require partnership. The DMZ is a rich reserve of ecological, environmental, historical, and cultural values and potential. Under restricted human access for the last 70 years, DMZ has recovered and preserved its ecosystem. As many as 102 endangered species have made it their home. Its wetlands have drawn international attention as a habitat for endangered migratory birds, such as cranes and spoonbills. Moreover, more than 400 sites in old villages and homes remain intact, adding to its historical value. DMZ is located right in the middle of the peninsula and at the gateway for inter-Korean exchange. It has the potential to transform from a symbol of division to a symbol of peace if we can successfully establish this as a green peace zone. There have been discussions about the peaceful use of the DMZ. Despite the tireless efforts of the ROK administrations, progress has remained limited with the exceptions of the reconnection of Inter-Korean Railway due to lack of response or failure to implement agreed actions on the part of the DPRK. However, climate change and environmental protection are shared challenges, and we wish to pursue policies in a phased manner, taking into account the present conditions. We will broaden cooperation in the border areas that aim to achieve real benefits and preserve the ecological, cultural, and security value of DMZ to promote it as a hub for peace research. By expanding the peaceful use of the DMZ, we hope to ease tension on the peninsula and garner international support for transforming it into a place of partnership and cooperation. A forum for realizing the Green Détente vision. DMZ Global Forum 2022. Building a green peace zone towards green détente. DMZ Global Forum 2022.
Well, DMZ symbolized division in the past, but now is symbolizing peace. And we could see that it is a treasure trove of the nature. And I think this video heightened our understanding of the DMZ. With this, we will conclude the opening ceremony and take a short break. Thank you once again to all the domestic and foreign guests who are attending the forum despite your busy schedules, and to the viewers who are watching online. After a short break, the first session will be held under the theme of transforming the DMZ into the GPZ, the eyes of the young generation. Please continue to join us in the next